1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock.
Johnny Lamb Jones.
As a season ticket holder of the Jets, I'm going to fool Ken O'Brien of California Davis. Obviously, the Jets know something that, the people up there don't. Fullback, hello.
Roger Vick. Jeff Lageman.
Jets just don't understand the dress all about.
Blair Thomas, running back, Penn State. Johnny Mitchell. The New York Jets select tight end from Penn State, Kyle Brady. Vernon Golson.
Cleveland traded the 5th pick to the New York Jets. And with the 5th pick, the 2009 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Mark Sanchez.
D. Milner.
Smith. Jets select quarterback Christian Hackenberg.
Sam Darnold.
The New York Jets select Zach Wilson.
Future Pro Bowler Elijah Moore.
Michael Carter, running back.
Yeah. All right. Well, what's happening, everybody? This is it. I look forward to this every single week. Welcome to the Monday night 10 o'clock mock. I am GreenBean, and I'm happy to be here with you. I got to admit, I didn't think our partner was going to make it tonight. I started. He was over there rocking for 2 hours, but he slid in here mere seconds ago. So technically speaking, he's not late. So let's say hello to our good friend and travel partner, Dom C. You made it, buddy.
I told you I would. I wouldn't miss the 10 o'clock mock for nothing. What's up, Bean? Chat, what's happening? Nice to see everybody.
Yeah. Well, look, you're all greased up now, man. You've been working it.
Yes, sir.
You're talking prospects and hypotheticals and trades and all that jazz. So we're getting a really a warmed up Dom C tonight. That's exciting.
Oh, I'm ready to go too. I'm ready to go, man. Let's rock.
All right. Well, look, we're going to get started real quick with an immediate super chat. So I want to honor that before we get into too much else. And I see everybody in the chat, Ant-Man and everybody starting us off. John Rogers down there from the land down under. But Cy Thompson checks in. Thank you for the super chat, buddy. He says, fever dream at quarterback needs to stop now. Quit being goofy in all your hate and non-hate. People bigger than us, and sincerely bigger than us in some ways, are in charge of these tenuous negotiations. Well, look, that's one of the things I was saying in the podcast this week. We have to remember, we do it every year, Tom. Every single year, we crumble to pieces over every single tweet. And when you look at a guy, you're like, hey, Aaron Rodgers says this. Somebody goes, yeah, I knew it. And then an hour later, somebody goes, Aaron Rodgers said the opposite. You go, oh, what the fuck? I hate the Jets. And it's like, it goes like that all day, all throughout the day. But then you'll take a look, who's saying this? And some kid, he puts up an official NFL thing on his tweet and everybody goes, whatever. It's like, I don't know who the hell these people are half the time, Dom.
I'm in a group chat with a bunch of the guys, and anytime I see these, I always send them, and I wait for Adam Y2K. Adam, is this guy credible? Who is this guy? And so far, the answer on everyone has been nope, don't know him, can't find him, never heard of him.
Right?
Fuck this guy.
Funny. but the damage is already done, you see, because we've already. Look, I saw there was a thread, a tweet, thread yesterday, where I saw two dudes because of one of these tweets. I forget. It might have been the one Dylan Terraman from Jetnation put up. Look, I see you in there, Dylan. Hello, buddy.
What's up,
Mr.
Dylan?
Boring. He wants to be boring. He's like, look at this guy. No car, no trades, no offensive line, and boo. We're gonna have some fun, Dylan. You damn square. But anyway, Dylan, I think he put up a few tweets, and anyway, I saw one of those tweets. There was a thread, Dom, where they were literally saying things like, you're an effing idiot. This is why you suck. And it degraded so fast. And again, the source is not even real. Like, what are we talking about? So I think, just like Cy Thompson said, it's very important right now. If we're going to maintain our mental faculties through this process, we once again have to remind ourselves that, first of all, 94.7% of the stuff you're hearing is complete and utter nonsense. Okay. Doesn't even have a foundation, a footing in anything real. The other side is, even when stuff is real, nothing's happening yet. Like, literally nothing. There's nothing happening.
Well,
yet.
listen, I know myself, like, I love to spend time worrying about things that either haven't happened yet or I have no control over. A wise man once told me, like, worry about the stuff you need to worry about and let everything happen. So, I'll be the first to admit, when I read these things on Twitter or social media or whatnot, like, I start to get, he's not coming. We're losing him. What are we doing? So on and so forth. And then I got to calm myself down and say, forget it. Like, I'll save that energy for the time, God forbid, that comes where we miss both Carr and Rodgers. Then,
yeah, right. Look, there's plenty of time to be pissed about real stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's a high potential that some of that's coming down the pike. I mean, look, even if, like, let's say one of the two happens, I think most Jets fans have those two guys, Aaron Rodgers and Derek Carr, up top, right? Most. There's a few guys that still believe the Lamar Jackson thing is real and whatever. So, but most, I could say safely, have those two guys up top, most realistic. But even if one of those two guys happens, 50% of all those are going to be furious. You know what I mean? Like, why would you give away whatever for a guy who's going to?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can't wait for it.
Derek Carr's he's a mediocre. It's going to be like, we find it very difficult to be happy. And I was listening. Dom C was just on Ryan's show, the Monday call-in show over there on Jets Talk 24/7. And I was in and out throughout the process, but I heard Ryan said something that was just painfully sobering, which is the Jets haven't had a quarterback to throw over 10 touchdowns in years.
Yeah. Think about that. Think about that. Patrick Mahomes had 7 in one game last year.
Yeah.
We haven't had 10.
And we complain, like the Derek Carr thing. He lost 7 games in 35 degrees or less. Dude, the guy throws 25, 35, 40 touchdowns a year. Aaron Rodgers 2 years ago had like 48 touchdowns. He's had more than 40 like 3 times in his career. And in addition to that, just so we're clear, 48 touchdowns, 6 picks.
Yeah, I know.
It's not like the Jameis Winston fool's gold thing, 33 touchdowns. Yeah. But, 33 interceptions as well. It's not like that. So anyway, I think I'd be really happy with either one of these guys. Now, Speaking of this quarterback, now tonight, as you guys know, every week we put up a poll and you guys decide. What's that?
I said I didn't even look what won.
Oh, well, so this is interesting. The option that won for tonight was, we're going to trade back to pick 19 and receive an additional second, which happens to be pick 50. Okay. It's a very, very nice trade. Truth is, it might be a little rich for a 6-spot leap, but you never, it's not that far out of, what's realistic. So that's what won, but it only won by 3 points. So I put a poll into the chat tonight, and I hope you guys are all answering it. And that is, should I include the second option that lost by the skin of its teeth, which would be trading a second and a 5th for Derek Carr? So theoretically right now, and it looks like most of you guys have voted and chosen yes. So there's still a few more of that, still about 35 of you, 40 of you that haven't voted. So if you want to swing it the other way, but it looks like what we're going to do, Dom, we're going to trade back to 19, gain number 50, use number 50 and a 5th to get Derek Carr from the Raiders. So we'll have done some really moving and shaking, and then so we'll have our quarterback. We basically traded back to get Derek Carr, essentially. I mean, we added a 5th to that. But that's a pretty damn good batch of moves, in my opinion. I think that Joe Douglas has shown that he's not afraid to do stuff like this. I mean, he's traded in every single draft.
Yep.
So it's not that far out of what could happen, maybe on the extreme side, but not too shabby. And I think that'd be a lot of fun tonight. What do you think? Are you going to vote yes or no?
I'm voting right now as we speak, and I'm not telling.
Yeah, I wanted to know.
I'm kidding. I like it. Listen, I think I think the 2 and the 5 is very, very reasonable if we have to trade for a Derek Carr at all. So and I like the trade down option. So I'm for it. Yeah. Or I'm against it if the chat doesn't want it. I don't care. I'm just here to draft, man. I'm here to draft and talk prospects.
So yeah, well that's the fun part about it. Again, what we're trying to do here, everybody, is have some fun. Number one, right? We want to make sure this is fun. If you find yourself getting angry at any point, then we're doing this wrong. Okay, so remind yourself that this is just 1 week, one scenario, one mock, and we're going to have some fun. But in addition to that, during the process, one of the things I really like to try and do is learn. Let's try to learn about these prospects. It's really hard to pay attention to all 2,966 prospects that are out there. So, you might be focused on offensive line, and maybe you're looking here, and Dom C might have some real good information on the linebackers that you didn't get to yet, and all around. So let's use this opportunity to learn from one another. And I think that's what makes it even more fun. Okay, man. So look, I'm going to end the poll because it's a resounding 67% said yes. So let's go ahead and end this bad boy.
And I'll say one thing while you're doing that, chat. The polls that go up are, like these things are kind of geared or really moved by how you guys want us to go, which way. So, we always start out with lots of votes in the polls to start with. And then as we get later in the draft, or should we do this, it kind of weans down. So please stay active with us, man.
Right. And the quicker that we vote, look, I pay attention to the percentage. I pay attention to how many of you voted. So if there's 200 of you in here and 32 people voted, I want to give you guys more time. There's 200 of you in here and 180 voted. I know I can close it. So the quicker, we do that, the quicker we can move through it, which is also fun as well. So, all right, here we go. So wait, real quick. I just ended the poll. So it's 67% said yes. So we're going to add this second trade, which gives us our quarterback. Now I have to figure out exactly how we're going to do this. So let's offer them pick 50. This is the pick that we just got for the trade back, right? So we're going to get pick 50 and what is it? 145 is a sixth, right? So 112. And 145 is a fifth, correct? Let me make sure.
145 is a fifth. It is.
Got it. Okay. All right. 145 is a fifth. So let's go. We have to figure out something. We got to get them to take this. So let's just say, let's just do this. They'll say yes to this. So look, we're trading our second and our fifth. Now remember the second we just got in the trade back with the Bucks for Derek Carr. So we actually did this kind of for free, Dom. Not a bad little way to do it.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Propose.
And they took it. So here we go.
So guys, remember that leaves us with 5 draft picks in this play. Quarterback is taken care of. Still got some other holes to fix. So keep that in mind.
Well, let me make sure here. I think didn't we didn't lose one? Yeah, I guess we did. Yeah. I guess 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the picks that we have, guys. So we now have pick 19, pick 43, pick 74, 112, and 185. But it's similar to last week, but not quite as drastic. We got our quarterback. Last week we traded number 13 overall for Aaron Rodgers. This week, we're trading a second and a fifth for Derek Carr. Now, guys, one more time, complete recap. We're about to start the mock, and I'm going to get to Jason Edwards' super chat here. This is what we did. The Bucks called and said, we really want to move up to 13. We said, we kind of like some guys. This is what happened, Dom. I was there. I was in the room. So they said, I don't really want to. And they said, we'll give you a third. We said, they were not interested. They said, okay. we'll give you pick 50 if you let us jump up. So we that was a little bit too good. We said, you know what, we could use pick 50. It's going to give us some maneuverability, and we moved back.
Yeah.
And took number 50. So now we had 19 and 50, but then we had an opportunity to grab Derek Carr for pick 50 and a 5th. So now we got our quarterback, and all we gave up, Dom, we moved back a little bit, 6 spots.
A 5th rounder, yeah.
And I gave all right. So not too shabby, especially when you're thinking of getting more than 10 touchdowns in a season. Amaze balls. Could you imagine?
God. No. Well, yes, I can imagine. We've lived through it. I know that nightmare well.
Oh my God. I just can't believe that's, I mean, I think we really do get it twisted, man. Like we're a team was really playing for their play. We were in the hunt for the playoffs till the second to last week of the season. And we had quite literally the worst quarterback play in the NFL. And we were still there. That's how much this team is kind of waiting for a guy who can just get the damn ball to the receivers. You know what I mean?
Well, I think of it like this, and I'm not hoping that this happens, but I think it's a fair way to kind of view it. All right, say you miss out on the big guys, right? And say you miss out on the top 3. Whoever your top 3 is, I'm putting Jimmy G in there as number 3.
Right?
You know?
Yeah.
No one really wants Ryan Tannehill here. Let's be honest. Yeah,
That's my Jimmy G music. Anyway, go on. I'm listening.
No one really wants Ryan Tannehill here.
No.
But if you put Ryan Tannehill on the team last year, what do you think? 10, 11 wins?
Yeah,
Are we a playoff team?
With Tannehill, I don't like Tannehill, and I never did.
You're missing the point, though. If you put him on this team last year instead of Zach Flacco and injured Mike White,
10 wins, 9 minimum, 10 wins.
minimum, and we get in the playoffs,
and
right?
we're in the playoffs, yeah.
So to that point, we just need somebody that's like alive in a heartbeat. Not like the corpse of Joe Flacco or anybody else. We just need something.
I know, it's crazy.
Something. Ugh.
Yeah, and it's a great point. Now, obviously, if we get Ryan Tannehill, we're all going to be disappointed. There's probably 3 of us out there like, yeah, but that's about it. You know what I mean? Everybody else, but it's still a significant improvement. Jason Edwards checking in. Thank you, buddy. He says, we are statistically anomalous to have this type of quarterback play. If anyone in the chat advocates for White or Zach in 23, you are not a functional fan. We as Jets fans deserve better. Now, look, I want to say that I agree. We cannot go into this season with Zach Wilson and Mike White. Okay. We just can't. We can't do it. There's too much riding on it, man. There's too much there's too much talent, and there's too much potential frustration, and jobs are on the line and all kinds of stuff. That said, I have no problem with the idea of keeping Zach as the 3 and just developing and bringing in some legitimate coaches, or however the hell Hackett wants to do it. I mean, Calabrese is still here. I don't know what the deal is, what the scenario is going to look like, but I have no problem with that. Bring in a legitimate quarterback. And the truth is, I'm kind of past Mike White as well. I wouldn't be upset if he's the number 2, but it's like, I don't know. I would really love to see them, get a Derek Carr and then maybe a Jacoby Brissett as the backup or somebody like that. You know what I mean? I would be really happy with that. Now, that said, again, I think you'll have to mitigate these costs somewhere. So I think just keeping Mike White could be a simpler route as the number 2 if you do land Rodgers or Carr or Jimmy G, or whoever it might be. I think that's a good, that's a good way to kind of handle it. That all said, I do agree, man. We deserve better, dude. And that's kind of what we're talking about. So these ideas, these mocks where we get a quarterback, they're important because the truth is it's looking like we're going to give something away for a quarterback, whether it's Aaron Rodgers, whether it's Derek Carr. If it's Jimmy G, you don't have to give away any picks, but we're going to be looking for that. So it's realistic to try to explore what it is that we'll be dealing with, because the Jets are more than likely going to give something away. And everybody with this idea like, oh, the Jets can get Aaron Rodgers without pick 13. I struggle, man. I don't, dude. There's other teams involved. It's not just like we're the only team. We're fuck you. We're gonna, pardon my French. We're gonna, you take it or leave it, buddy. That's not what it is. We're competing with other teams that are probably gonna be offering all sorts of fun stuff for the right to have a true legend at quarterback, just like the Bucs did with Tom Brady, man. So, anyway, Jason, I'm with you. One-Eyed Willie, last comment before we get started here. Aaron wants to play behind the bottom 3 O-line for his last 2 years. Come on. Well, I mean, One-Eyed Willie, this is the thing. I see this comment all over the place. Maybe it's just you all over in Twitter and fucking Instagram. Maybe. But the truth is, we don't have a bottom 3 offensive line, number one. We were right in the middle of the pack, and that's with complete decimation. That's never going to happen again, dude. It's like all of our injuries were localized to the offensive line, and even more specifically, the tackles. How the hell? I mean, there was a stat that came out. The Jets had more offensive line alignments and more different players at different positions than anybody else in the NFL. And the thing is, and we still weren't the bottom 3 O-line. So I think you're being a little, you're jumping a little far there, One-Eyed Willie. I hear the point, but I think number one, it's not true. So, and I think, look, we're getting ABT, we're getting Becton, we're going to draft some people. We're going to be fine with the offensive line, in my opinion. Matter of fact, I'm looking for a top 5 O-line. That's what I'm looking for, everybody.
Amen.
Amen to that. Okay, so here we go. I'll get to your super chats in a second. We're going to get this first pick going. Remember, we traded back to 19. So here it goes, everybody. The draft is a starting. There it is. Oh, Paris Johnson up top.
Boom.
Did you
Look
see
at that? I did.
Wow. Look at that weirdness. All right. So we'll look at these trades in a second, just so we can see. Paris Johnson up top is a very interesting. It's not beyond the realm of possibility, of course, but I'm not seeing that mocked too much at this point. There goes the quarterbacks, right? You have Jalen Carter, defensive tackle, Miles Murphy. Yep. Okay. Anthony Richardson went to the Bucs. So now it makes sense. That's what I was curious about.
Yeah.
Who did the Bucs? It worked out for our little fantasy here. The Bucs wanted Anthony Richardson. They wanted to make sure they got up there and got their replacement for Tom Brady. So it makes sense. Now we're looking at the Jets. We got a couple trade offers, everybody. We got 3. Now, I want to tell you, once we get past like the 3rd round, I'm not going to entertain the trades anymore because they get silly and they waste time. But we'll entertain the few in the beginning. Okay. So the Ravens want us to slide back 3 spots, and we'll flip a 4th for a 2nd next year. That could be nice. Really inconsequential for us tonight. The Vikings would like us to go back 4 spots. And again, they want to do something next year. It's a 7th all the way to a 2nd. That's pretty good. It's a pretty good jump. And the Giants, look at this one. This is an interesting one, everybody. So the Giants want us to go back, 6 spots, and they'll throw in their 3rd round pick. So I'm going to go ahead and start this poll, Dom. Why don't you talk about this? What are you into any of these?
I mean, this 3rd one is, I think the value is really good considering the slip back from 19 to 25. I think you're still going to get a fair talent here. You might miss out on Broderick Jones if that's going to if he's your if he's everyone's in that top 3 tackle range. I think you risk missing out on him, but there's still other ways that you can go, and I think you can attest to it. What we saw down in Mobile, there's more depth in this tackle class. Than is really being talked about. And I
like Anton Harrison more each day.
Yeah. Anton Harrison is there's it wouldn't shock me one bit whatsoever if he's the 3rd tackle or 2nd tackle taken off the board. I mean, he's absolutely capable of doing that. Very, very Charles Cross-esque.
Yeah. And there it is, guys. Like, look, that's one of the things. Like, as we do this, there are names. Like, we all start with these names and we have the top 3, 4 guys in each position. As we pay attention to this, you start to look at these mocks and these positional rankings and you go, you know what? I don't agree with that. That doesn't,
Absolutely
no,
right.
I don't like that guy. And you start to see this stuff. So again, like Dom said, one of the sneaky little things that are going to creep up and as for a position of interest for the Jets is that tackle position. It just might be a little deeper than you think.
Yeah.
And after those top two, Dom, it might fall back in that second. It looks like that second tier might have a little bit more depth to it than the top. The top is kind of those two guys in many
Yeah.
people's eyes.
Yeah, Skoronski and Johnson, or Skoronski Johnson, or some people like Jones more than one, than the other, so on and so forth. But like, I think for lack of better, Skoronski and Johnson are the top tier of this class. There's guys that, like I said, Darnell Wright from Tennessee. We saw him at the Senior Bowl week, just absolutely dominant all week long. He's a guy that I'm adjusting my rankings post Senior Bowl as it stands, and he's a guy that's moving right up there. Like I really like the guy's talent. I think he's capable of playing right or left, as solid against the run as he is against the pass, more so than a guy like even Paris Johnson. Paris Johnson's going to come in and he's going to be a mauler right off the get-go, but there's going to be questions on if he can handle the pass rush at left tackle. I don't question that with Darnell Wright.
Interesting. I even liked, there was a few guys. I mean, look, we paid attention to Steen. I don't think he's among the top, but I happen to like him. So a little bit more. Osiris Torrance is another one.
Yeah.
There are options here, guys. Okay, look, I'm going to go ahead and look at the poll. You got 61% of you are saying the Giants. Now there's only 47 votes though, so I'm going to give it a minute. Let's see there's a few more votes. Okay, they hopped in and it's leveling off a little bit. Right now, the way it stands, guys, is the Giants trade has 59% of the votes and the no trade has 20%. Now, that's kind of where I think it should be anyway. The Ravens and the Vikings trades are kind of ridiculous. And I mean, there's some people voting for them and that's fine. But generally speaking, I mean, we're trying to have some fun tonight,
Yeah. And I want to touch on Patrick Mahomey. I love that name, by the way. Great. He says that Torrance isn't a fit for the Jets scheme, and I happen to agree with that. However, I think at some point, especially if you're in the bottom of the first round, the talent that he provides is going to outweigh any scheme fit that you might have. He might just be that kind of guy that if at 25 or 21, wherever we're picking now, if he's the best on the board in that tier alone, you take him and you figure it out. But, as a whole, I'd say he's definitely more built to play inside in a power gap scheme. He's an absolute beast against the run. He's a big boy. It's going to fit a team that wants to drop back and, not roll the quarterbacks out or play out of shotgun, so on and so forth. So I agree with what you're saying. However, that, if he's on the board and he's the sole left guy in that tier, the NFL teams are going to take him. And figure it out. I
agree with that. It's very well said. I mean, obviously, when you're looking at positional fit, right? Like scheme fit, but there are guys, man. Like they're not always so locked in. This is the one thing that they can do, and they can expand a little bit. And like you said, when you're getting to the point where you're looking at your boards and one guy's talent is far superior than what's out there, maybe this guy's a little bit better fit, but he's a tier. He's a tier down. At least as far as you have them rated. You really do want to, in many instances, go ahead and just grab the athleticism, all that, and see and work them in, train them, teach them, develop them. And a lot of these guys, look, like a lot of guys we talked about, what do they say, Dom? Hey, what do you think about this? I'll do anything. I'm play football. That's one of the best answers.
Jamie Robinson.
Jamie Robinson goes, look, man, I'm a football player. All right. I'll do, punt return. What do you want? Kick? I'll kick it. Doesn't matter. I play football, man. And I love that answer. Lord Supreme checking in. He says he threw 10 touchdowns with his kids over the weekend. Now, to be fair, I don't know if there was any pass rushers coming at you, but still, point well taken, Lord Supreme. I'm with you. And Cy Thompson checking in says, give us a quarter. It looks like give us a green bean with a pulse, but I think you mean quarterback with a pulse. It's better than what we have. That's the truth, man. Absolutely. Like Don was pointing out with Tannehill. I mean, Tannehill's a guy that I really don't like as the guy we bring in. But let's be real. He's a significant improvement. We just need a guy that's average. And this team's in the playoffs. So, okay, we're going to end this poll.
75 votes. 75 votes. Not terrible.
Not terrible. Only less than half. 100 of you did not vote. So, okay. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and accept the Giants trade, which is interesting. Interesting. So we just gained a pick. It's good because remember, we got down to 5 picks. So this could be a route that Joe Douglas goes. So we're going to go. Let me counter it too. Why not? Let me add 254. I'm gonna get 254 out of this thing.
There's your punter.
Oh, they don't want it. All right, we'll just accept the offer. Oh, holy shit.
Whoa,
I almost did the thing, Dom.
I know it.
Make sure, dude, you can't trust my fingers, dude. They're wacky. All right, here we go. So we did it. All right. Oh, Brian Branch. Look at this. Look at the guys that just went. JL Skinner, Brian Branch. They were still there. And so look, we're not going to entertain every trade. So we're gonna pick here. Mm-hmm. Now, guys, I'm going to throw a poll up there. I'm going to show you guys. Here's the big board. I'm going to get this up there so you guys can think. All right. Now, remember, we're looking for tackles. We're looking for safeties, and we're might be looking for defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
I think those are and linebacker if you want to throw in a fourth. But I mean, those are really the positions of need and of interest for us in this year's draft. That's my guess. Depending on who. We in February, whatever we are, February 5th, we don't know who's going to be on the roster, who's not going to be on the roster. So as of now, as our roster is constituted, it's offensive line, it's defensive line, it's linebackers and safeties. Those are the 4 positions in need.
Yeah. Well, and look, I think that's what I did. So the poll is up there. I put those 3 positions. I didn't want to muddy it with linebacker and take 8% of the votes. So the way it looks, we have the options as they stand right now, my friends, is we have offensive tackle, we have defensive line, and we have safety. Those are the positions we're going to look at. I'm going to go ahead and show you. I'll whittle it down a little bit. Here's the big board, okay? So you see Broderick Jones is up top. So he's still on there. Osiris Torrance that we were talking about a little while ago. Here's the guy. This is a guy I'm liking. Now, again, my lists are they're not complete by any means, but he's somebody I looked at a little bit this week, and I'm liking him more and more. I think he's going to end up, like Dom said, he might end up being the 3rd tackle taken. Obviously, defensive line. This is everybody's favorite right now, and I think for good reason. Okay, got some wide receivers, got some linebackers, but all right. So Gervon Dexter. Anything on Gervon Dexter, Dom?
Yeah, talented. Extremely athletic, high upside player. But I don't think he's got the mental makeup to. He can be a guy that could be a big flop. What's the edge that we took out of Florida a couple years ago?
Yep, Ja'Kai Polite.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Same kind of makeup. All the talent in the world. Don't know if he's going to be able to put it all together. Being a Florida fan, a Florida Gators fan. I watched Gervon Dexter a lot, and he's a guy that just red flag after red flag. Like I said, he's got the talent that you want, and he's got that athletic upside that you really want in a defensive tackle, but he takes plays off. Not the character makeup that I think is typical of a Joe Douglas draft.
Not our guy. So look, guys, I'm going to point out safeties. We still got some guys. Generally speaking, this top 4 right here is in everyone's top 10. They shuffle around. Some people have battle up top. Some people have battle toward the middle. You got Jair Brown. He's usually floating around the bottom end from 7 to 10. Yeah. I see Christopher Smith. It's really an interesting thing with Christopher Smith. People either love him or they're like, meh. You know what I mean? Nobody hates him, at least not what I've seen, but it's interesting. The people that like Christopher Smith, and we saw this, I think Tigo is a Christopher Smith guy. I think that's the guy he liked. But I'm finding that out there. So anyway, we still got some nice safety options here.
Yeah.
Up top as well. And while check the offensive tackles, again, we have Broderick Jones, Anton Harrison, Darnell Wright. Dom C was just talking about that a little bit. DeJuan Jones. There is Cody Mauch as a tackle here. I think,
he's gonna be inside in the NFL.
Yeah, that's
more than likely.
Right.
Jalen Duncan's another guy that he's a guy who's in that, late second, early third round area that I think has a lot of upside. He's a pure left tackle. He put on a lot of good tape during the season in Maryland, and he held his own. He did pretty well during Senior Bowl week.
Nice.
He didn't stand out like Darnell Wright or DeJuan Jones did, but he held his own very well in the one-on-ones. He's a guy that I like if tackle somehow misses us in the first round or two. So
gotcha. Well, tackle's crushing it. I mean, we don't, again, we're not getting a very good return here on votes tonight, guys. Only 60 of you chose to vote for this one. I'll give it another minute in case, you're like, oh shit, I didn't see it. Go ahead and vote, but it looks like we're going to be grabbing a tackle. In the meantime, I'll talk about Jason Edwards. He said, wants a little explanation on the comp pick. I can absolutely do that. But look, the way that it goes with comp picks is that whatever happens this period applies to next year. Okay. Yeah. So if we were going to get comp picks this year, it would have had to been done what we accomplished in last year's free agent period. So we're not going to get any this year. The guys that we lost, most of them, interestingly enough, were signed after the window closed. There's a certain period of time that the free agents that are signed apply to the comp pick formula. After that, it doesn't matter. So, and another thing that doesn't matter is guys that are cut. So it has to be specifically free agents. So this year we have a few. We have Connor McGovern's way up top. We have guys like Nathan Shepard. We have Quincy Williams. We have Quan Alexander. So there's a nice batch of guys. The way I see it, anywhere from 5 to 7 of our free agents could legitimately be signed in that window. There's a lot of them that are going to hang around until after the window. They're not a priority. So teams would rather just wait on them and have them not count against their own comp formula. So we have about 5 to 7 guys that could go. So let's say we lose 5 of them, and then we only signed 4 free agents in that period, then we're looking at 1 comp pick. Now, depending on the size of the contract, so if it's Connor McGovern's contract that they apply and he gets a big $13.5 million, that could be as high as a 3rd-round pick. It's the contract that applies to the round. Okay, so that's how it goes, Jason. I mean, there's a lot of mud in this. They've left a lot of gray area. They could really make some decisions based on like opinion. They've reserved a lot of room for that in the formula, but generally speaking, that's how it goes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and end this poll.
We're at 75 votes again, and
nice.
Offensive tackle killed it.
Yeah, killed it. So all right, here we go. So I'm going to put up the offensive tackles, everybody.
So I have 3 guys here with 1st-round grades in the offensive tackles. Now the 3 first that you list right there: Broderick Jones, Darnell Wright, and Anton Harrison. I have 1st-round grades on.
You got Broderick Jones,
okay, Anton Harrison, and Darnell Wright. I got 1st-round grades on all of them. I personally, like I said, I happen to really be a big fan of Darnell Wright. I don't think the chat's going to probably lean that way. I think we're probably going to end up with Broderick Jones, and I don't think you can go wrong either. Both have pluses and minuses. Broderick Jones, can come in and play left tackle. I don't know if Darnell Wright can start out his NFL career. He might start on the right side. He might be a right tackle only.
Interesting. Okay, well, look, I put the poll up there. I added DeJuan Jones as well. I know some people happen to like him. Now, this is our 1st-round pick. So, a guy that you might like in the 2nd, this is our opportunity to make sure that we get the best possible guy. And we chose offensive tackle. So we need to see, about the other positions. We need to make sure that we get this one right and then maybe address safety, defensive line in the 2nd. Okay, now I'll show you very quickly. This is what we're looking at. Just to remind everybody, we have pick 25 now with our trades. We still have pick 43 and 74, and we gained 89 in that trade, which that could be the one, man. 89's a sweet spot, baby. Absolutely. I love that. I love the picks in the 70s and 80s. Then you got pick 112 and 185. So we got a nice little well-rounded crop positionally. And so that's where we are. So guys, don't forget to vote. let me catch up in the chat here. I'll try to catch up with you guys. See if I, Jin Pak voted. He's here. Welcome, Jim Pak. Astroloft the Chain is here. Look at all you guys. I love you guys. King Blaze is here. This is great. There's Tigo. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. Broderick is still there, though. Dylan. Broderick's there. But I'll tell you, Branch is gone.
Branch,
So
we just missed Branch.
just missed him. Now, if we see, that's the thing. Maybe we, look, and we could have taken a little bit more time and just made sure to look, maybe we wouldn't have accepted that Giants trade if we really wanted Branch. But then, I mean, it gets so muddy. We can do this for 9 hours, and we got to be careful.
Yeah. So Brian Branch, while we're talking about that, I'll touch on him. I think he's on my rankings. He's a top 5 player. Like, he is absolutely all world. I think he has a Pro Bowl, a regular Pro Bowl ceiling. The reality is that could he play free safety? Yes, he could. He's capable of doing it. But I think his best work is going to be done in and around the box, whether it be as a nickel cornerback playing in the slot, that overhang safety, that box safety that we talk about, where he can use his speed, his agility, his short area quickness to get in, to rush the linebacker, to break up those screens, to be that menace at the line of scrimmage. I think that's probably better fit for where Brian Branch goes. Ideally, in our defense, we still have Whitehead, and they kind of sort of play the same role. Branch is much better than Whitehead, but for sake of argument in this situation, hypothetical situation, Whitehead's still on the team. So that's the only caveat to drafting Brian Branch, is that we're going to force him in a position where he might not be best utilized.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. Okay, guys. Well, let's take a look at our poll. We got to get a pick in here, everybody. We're doing all these trades. And all right. So we got 60 votes. Broderick Jones is killing it. The misspelled Broderick Jones.
Yeah. Just take him and take him and move on.
Yep. That's what we're going to do.
And we can't go wrong there, man. He's, like I said, he's probably got the highest ceiling of all the guys listed that we had.
All right, so we got some trade offers. We'll take a look at this one. Pick 43. They want us to go back 43 spots. I don't have much interest in that. And the Giants are back in business here. They want us to go back, 14 spots and throw in 185, and they'll give us 182. I'm sorry, 102. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not interested in either one of these, actually.
I say we stay. I would vote to stay where we are right now because of one thing. And it's not that I don't like them. Guys who have, been with me since we started talking about the prospects a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, have known that, I've been hyping up the John Michael Schmitz at center for a long time. And everyone has kind of holds the same sentiment, but he's gone. For this draft, let's try to do something different. And John Michael Schmitz isn't on the board. So let's see if he's off the board, and he's getting a lot of buzz now. The Senior Bowl did him well. He could easily go in the top the top couple picks of the second round, even getting some first round buzz. I don't see it, but there's a possibility he won't be here when we pick. So here's a perfect situation when we can play with that. What else is on the board? What say you, Bean?
Well, no, look, that's the thing I'm most interested in. I mean, a lot of people they get mad when we don't do the exact same draft every week. And it's like, for me, I love to explore the different. Let's see if we do take a wide receiver here out of nowhere because it's the best player. What happens to the rest of the draft? I'm very curious in that. So I'm really fine. I love it. Like, my inclination right now, I would love to grab a center or a safety. That's where, I love defensive line too. But I'm all about it. But like you said, Schmitz is gone. Let me see who else is there. I know I saw Patterson, Whippler, Stromberg, Patterson. Look, they have him as a guard, I guess. But so there's still some nice guys there. But is that enough to bypass? To maybe a safety in the second round. So let's see what the safeties look like. You still got Brandon Joseph, Jair Brown, Christopher Smith. So lots of talent there.
So we got to, I know I'm all about switching it up, man. The safety's not there. Look at this. Look at him. Look at this. Oh, terrible.
I know. Siaki Ika's your guy.
Yeah, I love him. But there's a couple other guys that I like almost as much too, but so, I mean, and that's the whole thing with the draft. It's like when you have a guy who's clearly better than the pack and you want to move mountains to get him, but then there's other guys like I really like this guy, but I also like this guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then you can get a more refined draft that way, in my opinion. So there's John Michael Schmitz and Ika. They're both gone. There's Darnell Wright. So we lost some of our guys, but that's bound to happen.
Yeah.
So all right. So we're not taking the trade. So we're going to go ahead and put up a poll.
Yeah.
We have. I'm going to put 3 positions up there.
Okay. I'm thinking safety. I'm thinking linebacker.
Well, let's do defensive line. Okay. And let's see. We're going to do safety, defensive line. You don't want to add center.
I think at this point, I don't think. I think we can wait on center. I mean, there's guys that are here that are really valuable that you can grab later. I mean, I'm a big fan of Joe Tippmann, the big guy from Wisconsin. I just think he's got an all-around talent. He's a mauler in the run game, big, strong anchor, won't get bull rushed by, the 0 techs or the 1 techs, in front of him. Mirrors very well in the pass game. I think he's a guy that can go later, 3rd, 4th round, and you can plug and play and forget about that for the next 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there you go. Well, hey, so I threw up linebacker. I added wide receiver too. I saw some people saying wide receiver. So that's a nod to you, my loves. I gave that to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, look, there is still some talent here. Some of the names that you might not know. This is a great opportunity to take a look. And take a look. Who is?
And if you guys have any questions, shoot them out. Shoot the names out. I mean, I'll give you my take on them. I'm sure Bean can do the same.
Yeah. So Dylan's asking about Oluwatimi. He had an interesting Senior Bowl week. What were your thoughts there?
So I'll tell you this about Oluwatimi. I was higher on him. His game film, I think, showed him at a much different, higher, better level than what I saw over the week in Mobile. First off, I'll tell you is I thought he was a lot smaller and leaner than his numbers or his height and weight showed. He definitely wasn't playing. It looks like you could tell he's been off for a couple months. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's kind of taking a break, and which is fine. He got to recover, so on and so forth. So he looked a little bit smaller to me. He held his own. He didn't stand out. I don't think he didn't get dog walked in any way, shape, or form, but he didn't stand out. The one thing that I couldn't wrap my head around, I couldn't get off of, is on Tuesday, I watched him short hop 3 shotgun snaps to the quarterbacks. And I don't know if it was just the situation, the pressure, the rust.
Yeah.
And then somebody pointed out that he grades out like in the 1 percentile in his hand size. He's got a 9-inch hand. That's like Kenny Pickett range.
Yeah.
So I just couldn't get that out of my head.
Well, that's important, man. I mean, that's pretty vital. And I think, short hopping it in a situation like that, like you said, it could very well be rust. But again, things like hand size matter, everybody. So you want to pay attention to that. Taking a look at the linebackers, we haven't really looked at them yet. There's still some really interesting names right here, guys. Sewell, that's what we call a bona fide slide. Okay, so we're down here. We're at pick 43. Generally speaking, I see him rated relatively high. This would be, in my opinion, somewhat of a steal. Not quite a steal yet, but a lot of people like him. You got Papo there, Ivan Pace Jr. A lot of people like Jack Campbell as well. Overshown. So there's still lots of guys here that a lot of people would be interested in. I showed the safeties. I showed the defensive tackles and the linebackers. Now let's go switch it up and see who's still here in the wide receiver group. So we got Boutte and Rice and Hyatt and Tillman. Anybody out stand out to you here? Worth taking it?
To take at this spot, I'd probably not. I really like Rashee Rice. He struggled mightily getting off of press coverage at Mobile, so I think he's a guy that is going to need to probably play the Z or maybe in the slot, somewhere where you can put him in motion and help him gain that separation off the line. He just against the tight press coverage in the one-on-one battles, he struggled mightily. That was the biggest takeaway that I took from Rashee Rice. He had some really nice catches. He's got good body control, strong hands through contact, but just couldn't get off of the line. So that kind of dings him a little bit for me. Jalen Hyatt is going to be lightning quick, but I question his full route tree. He might be a deep threat and deep threat only. Keishawn Boutte, I got to be honest with you, I haven't really done a lot of homework on him, so I don't want to speak out of context or out of line, just because he originally wasn't coming out and then got into some trouble. I don't know if anyone heard that, he was involved in some sort of crazy sex party with a bunch of the LSU female and male staff. So, I think they asked him to leave college. So he withdrew his word that he was going to come back next year and just declared. So I haven't really done a good deep dive on him yet. So I don't want to speak to him. So all of these guys, they're nice players. That Dontavian Wicks is a great receiver. I like Xavier Hutchinson as well, but I just don't think they're worthy of this 43 pick.
This spot, right? So I tell you, man, I don't know when people are going to learn in today's day and age. You can't do anything outside the lines. If you're trying to, have a career, whatever, you can't do anything. You can't have a sex party with staff. You can't. You can't do it anymore. Maybe back in the 90s, you can get away with shit like that. The school even protected you. If you got into some trouble, there was no Twitter, there was no internet. You know what I mean? You can hide it.
Yeah.
No, not anymore, man. You got to be on the straight and narrow.
I would probably lean here towards the linebacker or the defensive line.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't think the value's here at the wide receiver, and I think the safeties are deep enough where we can wait a little bit and still land a good guy. Now, Noah Sewell, we see that it looks by the ratings that he's a value. And Noah Sewell's a good player. Yeah, again, he's one of those guys that's going to feast or famine. What I didn't like about Sewell's tape is that he had a down year in 2022 comparatively to 2021. He regressed.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like in the biggest games, he kind of disappears. You know what I mean?
Don't like that.
No, and to be honest with you, I think his role is truly a Mike, as is Jack Campbell's. So if we're drafting here for the Jets, I probably don't think Mike is the way to go. I think you're going to look to replace either Quan and or Quincy Williams with a Will or a Sam or an off-ball backer as more opposed than a Mike. Yeah. And I think Noah Sewell and Jack Campbell both fit that traditional Mike backer. So those are guys that if we're taking linebacker here, I probably wouldn't take.
Well, I just ended the poll. Safety was blowing it away. So,
wow.
Interestingly, I thought linebacker had a better shot. But let me just make sure. Yeah. So, it starts. So safety got it. So let's take a look. We got our guys, Brandon Joseph up top. Okay.
Yep. Then
we got this guy. We got Jair Brown.
I like him a lot. Yep. But again, he's more of a box fit than your traditional free safety. He could do it in a pinch and he can, play, but his strength is blitzing and rushing off the edge and closing down and filling gaps and filling holes.
All right, here we go. So they're up there. Your choices for safety are up. Let's try to get some votes. Let's see if we can do this one in 2 minutes. Get 180 of you to vote right now. Go in there, click, see your guys. I'm sorry, Finnegan. Finnegan wanted a linebacker. He wanted Campbell. It didn't happen for you tonight, buddy. So now we got to try to get your safety in there. Who's your safety? Squirmy Weasel wants a little Christopher Smith action along with Dylan.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I voted as well, and I'll tell you when the poll's done who I voted for.
He doesn't want us to know yet. He doesn't want to impact. I like that.
I don't want to skew anybody.
That's right.
In one way or another. If I say, hey, I took Brandon Joseph, and they say, well, fuck that. I'm not listening to Dom C. I'm taking this guy.
All right. So Rusty Spooner wants me to take he wants to spend a second and read Brandon Joseph's quick blurb that they have here. So no problem. He's 6'1", 192. Joe, I saw him listed as closer to 200. But either way, so Joseph was courted by multiple Ivy League programs, a testament to his intelligence. Wow, so super smart. While being clever doesn't always equate to football intelligence, it certainly does in the Notre Dame safety's case. Joseph displays superb play recognition skills and can often be seen directing his teammates to make pre-snap adjustments.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with adding that to the fray, Dom C.
No, I'll say this about Brandon Joseph. He's not my favorite player in this poll here between these four. But I will say this, he's probably the truest of the true pure ball hawking style free safeties. I comp him to Malik Hooker, the free safety for Dallas. Same kind of mindset. He's not going to offer a whole heck of a lot, in run support, but that's just not what his, game is meant about. He's got great range. He makes plays on the ball in the air, so on and so forth. He's another guy who has, his play, 2 years ago when he was at Northwestern, I think he had 7 interceptions, is superb season, and he just hasn't been able to replicate that. So,
all right.
Yeah.
I have a favorite here as well. Safeties is an area that I'm really excited, man. Like this is, I'm really starting to have the time to just do my thing. And I'm digging. I think we're gonna go with a safety in the first 2 rounds. I really do. Now I was fucking dead wrong last year with our positions. So who knows, but I feel good about the safety class. And I feel like the Jets, we are in perfect position to nab one of these guys I like. So there's Christopher Smith's blurb for you guys. I'll also show you Jair Brown, who's another one here. He's 5'11", he's 207, a little bit bigger than Brandon Joseph here. Brown isn't quite at the level of Jaquan Brisker as a prospect, but he could be a solid NFL player in his own right. He's a bit different stylistically. Brown stands around 5'11", stocky, 208-pound frame. Yeah. With that frame, however, he showcases nice range and aggression downhill. But Brown is not afraid to throw himself at ball carriers, but he also has ball skills as well. At the very least, Brown's versatility and intensity will be coveted.
Yeah, he's an athletic freak, man. He's one of those guys who just does everything. But like I said, Penn State used him in the Brian Branch mold, where he kind of hovered as that rover, that big nickel safety that kind of played in the overhang. He blitzed a lot. I think he had 3 or 4 sacks, 15 to 20 pressures last year. Like he was a guy that got after it. They used him in that lightning set where they're blitzing the safeties and the defensive backs a lot. That's what his forte was.
There you go. All right, guys. So I'm going to end this poll. We only got 58 votes, but I'm going to end it because I can't wait for you slow pokes. So Brandon Joseph, man, that's who it's looking like here. Let's get the official vote here. Okay. Yep. There it is. Brandon Joseph is coming to the New York Jets. We got ourselves a safety. All right.
I would have taken Chris Smith. That was my vote.
Yeah.
Say that now.
I was going to go with, I think I'm at the Jair Brown, but I have no problem with Brandon Joseph. I actually I don't hate that, but I would be leaning toward Jair Brown there. Yeah. He's my kind of guy.
Yeah.
But we're both wrong. The chat has spoken. Right, man.
The chat
All right. This will be the last trade that we entertain tonight. We're in the 3rd round. We have 2 third-round picks. So after the 3rd-round pick, we're not entertaining any late-round trades. You always get that, these weird trades where they want to throw 3 beautiful end of the draft picks at you for 1 pick, and it gets silly. So the Dolphins are coming to town. They want us to slide back 3 spots, and they'll give us the right to jump 2 rounds next year. The Colts would like us to go back 5 spots, and they add 140 to the mix. So I'll throw this up there, guys. Very, very quickly. I'll give this one 2 minutes. Dom, you taking one of these or what?
Well, I mean, I like the idea of the Colts trade because you get that 5th rounder back and only moving down 5 spots, but it would be dependent upon what the board looks like. Obviously, if there's a guy that I think that you just can't pass on or risk losing, I'd probably pass. But Cody Mauch, there's your
There he is,
interior
dude.
lineman right there.
I'll tell you what. He was the star of the week of Senior Bowl. Everybody wanted him. We were there. We almost got an interview with him, and he was attracting the big boys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They kind of whisked them away.
Now looking at the big board here, I'll tell you my vote would be to stay. Because I don't think you can pass on Kalijah Cansey, the defensive tackle from Pittsburgh. I don't think he's going to be here in the 3rd round in come April, but he's got a skill set that is like no other. He's compact. He's like a bowling ball. He's got pass rush skills out the wazoo. Like I said, he's a little bit smaller. He's only 6 feet tall, about 280 pounds, but he plays a lot bigger than that. What he can do next to Quinnen Williams in pass sets would be scary. It would be absolutely scary. So
okay.
I would pass on it, and I would
interesting.
Jump.
It's interesting.
He's my defensive tackle number 2 overall.
Interesting, and he's still sitting right there. He's talking about there he is, Kalijah Cansey. Now there are some real nice prospects. Here's my favorite from the weekend. Steve Avila's still there.
Yeah.
Look, he's a realistic get right here, man. I think he would be fantastic.
Absolutely.
Again,
he's center. He's set. He can fill that center spot.
That's right,
without question.
Yeah, without question. And I think he would be a good move. So I'm going to go ahead and look at this trade. Everybody wants to take the Colts trade. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do that. We'll slide back a few spots, so we're going to lose all these guys that we wanted probably. But
no trade won.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did.
No way. Let me look at this again. You're crazy. Oh, it did. Look at that. Holy shit. Okay, well, there you go. Thanks, Dom C, for catching it. Yeah. All right, so we are not taking the trade. How's that sound? So, okay, now we got some positions we're going to look at here. Now, again, Dom just made his case for the defensive tackle, so that will be one on here. 3rd round pick.
Yeah,
okay.
As much as I do, like Steve Avila, I absolutely love the player, love the prospect, really love talking to him, and he seemed like he's a football player. He's got the makeup. I just think I don't think you can pass with the razor thin depth at defensive tackle in this draft class. I don't think you can pass on a guy like Kalijah Cansey.
There you go. Well, Dom's making his case. I'm going to be real honest with you. While I respect and appreciate what he's saying, I'm taking the center. If it's me, I'm not passing it up because I think we're losing McGovern. And right now we have Dan Feeney manning the center position for the New York Jets next year. So again, just like Dom said, I think Avila is a fantastic. I mean, he's going to come in. He's a plug and play in my opinion.
Yeah.
And
see,
you don't have to worry about
my take on it though. I think if you do pass on Avila here, you can you're still capable, especially with that extra 3rd rounder that we got from the Giants, to land a good center, whether it's Whippler, whether it's Tippmann, whether it's, you want to roll the dice and take Patterson. I think that the depth at center is a lot better in these later picks, 89, 112, than it is at defensive tackle.
There's an argument. That's an argument to be made. And let's not forget to remember that we did gain pick 89. So in 15 picks, we do have another opportunity. So that could be it could be worth considering, everybody. Remember, there's lots of variables here to keep in your mind. It's not as simple as I want this guy. Like, you can get maybe both. We see that all the time if you play it right.
And Dylan Terraman here's making a good point. If you hold any depth and weight to what the prognosticators say, that Kalijah Cansey is getting mocked, in the top half of the 1st round to some people. Some people liken him to another undersized defensive tackle out of Pitt that we all know, Aaron Donald. I don't know if I'm going to, I don't know if I'm going to, hang my hat on that comparison yet, but I mean, the guy is, the guy offers something that no other defensive lineman in this draft can, and that's a high level double digit sack potential from the interior defensive line.
There you go. Well, you guys got to listen to the words being said right now. Yeah. I see there's still a couple defensive tackles I like and that'll be there. But I think your argument is sound. It's all how you look at it, man. I mean, it's all about trying to get the top talent that you can, and reaching is the great eroder of draft classes, man. You make one reach and everything falls apart for you as the chips fall. But if you play it smart and intelligently with what Dom's saying, maybe I don't agree. I'm not saying I don't, but maybe I don't agree specifically in this case. But generally speaking, I think that's absolutely the way that you attack a draft. I mean, dude, how many times, guys, over the years, I've played it exactly like that. And my drafts were, I mean, light years better than the Jets. And I've watched them flounder and flip-flop to just fucking complete mediocrity at best. And it's like, I see them reaching and just playing it so poorly. And that's, again, why I tend to lean towards supporting Joe Douglas. I see it differently. Yeah. I see a guy who's playing the draft properly. And maybe the player busts out. It happens. But I see a guy who's managing the draft in a way that I think is finally somewhat legitimate, if I could say that word. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and end this one. Defensive tackle. The dumb C effect has taken root. There it is. He didn't want to let this guy go. This is where Dom put his foot down. All right, so defensive tackle it is. So we'll throw up a couple guys here. Where's the guy? Kobe Wooden. Yeah, I like, obviously I told you guys about Keandre Coburn, but what is it? Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So here we go. I'm putting up the poll. So we'll put up, where did it go? I got too many damn windows open, buddy. Okay. The fact that I'm as proficient as I am with this should I could use a round of applause, because I am borderline, like, I don't even know how to do this stuff. And I float through these windows. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Y2K from New York Sports Wicker Media has put in the chat here, he needs some Mozzie info. So I'll give you what I got about Mozzie Smith. Mozzie Smith is he's talented. He's a big guy. He's kind of the opposite of Kalijah Kancey in regard to skill set. He's your prototypical big body, zero tech, one tech, big nose tackle. Think Nathan Shepard, but better, bigger and better. He's dominant against the run. He can still get at the passer. He's a good player. As a matter of fact, in my interview with Steve Avila during Senior Bowl week, I asked him, I said, who's the best defensive tackle that you played against in your career? TCU played some big schools, and he said Mozzie Smith. He didn't even hesitate. He said Mozzie Smith was the best defensive tackle I played against. However, there's some character concerns with Mozzie Smith. Mozzie Smith had a loaded automatic weapon on the campus of Michigan, or a loaded semi-automatic handgun, something like that, something that he got in trouble with. So there's some of that stuff that's probably, are going to take him right off of some people's boards, but the player and the film that he puts out is good. Matter of fact, Michigan played him as a 5-tech end at times too. So he can get, he can get at the passer. But he's dominant against the run,
Semi-automatic weapons. What's the big deal?
Right.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm going to tell you, Hennessy, you seem a bit grumpy tonight. What's up, buddy? You okay? Of course it's not going to go like this. You know how hard? There's like thousands of players and myriad scenarios. Of course you know how hard it would be to nail it? You know how hard it would be to nail it? It's almost virtually impossible. Yeah. Again, my grumpy friend, we're exploring. That's what we're doing, Hennessy.
Yeah.
That's it. Here comes Rusty Spooner with his love for Patterson. Let's see what goes on. He's been doing this for 2 years.
Rusty has to be related to Jaret Patterson. I've never seen a man crush so hard as Rusty on Jaret.
He's sticking with his boy. He's doing it, man. Rusty, he gets, he has some fines, this Rusty Spooner fella.
I'm gonna say this about Jaret Patterson. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think that he had a bad week at Mobile. Everyone's going to talk about the play. when the defensive tackle Adebaware from Northwestern just absolutely dog walked him 15 yards back into the end zone. That's what's going to stick out. But you can't make an assessment on one rep. These guys are top end athletes. They lose reps every time in and time again. So I think the overall picture of Jarrett Patterson is very good. I love that he's big. I love that he has center and guard flexibility. He's got good lateral movement, so he can move up and down the line. I just don't think he does anything to a super high level. Super high level. He's a very, very, he's a B student.
B student. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So there's a question. Hey, Phenom's in the house. Good morning, Phenom. So he says, you have a comp for Keanu Benton. Know anything about him? Anybody you'd comp him to?
Yeah, Keanu Benton's another guy. NFL comp, I don't know. I'd have to really think about it. But he's played himself into a lot more money. I think he was probably being talked about in the later day 3 rounds. But he had a really good week. He's aggressive. He's very strong. He's a big body, so he can fill that run stuffing mold, and that's what he was thought of. That's what at least I thought of when I watched him on tape in Wisconsin. Is that he's your prototypical Foley Fatukasi replacement? Run stuffing, defensive tackle, big kind of guy. But he's got some real good pass rush moves. As a matter of fact, he was one of the guys that I watched. Really get the best of Jarrett Patterson in a couple reps, got the best of Oluwatimi a couple reps. He was impressive. I like Keanu Benton. I don't know how I'd comp him yet. I don't want to just throw a random name out there, so I'm not going to give you an NFL comp, but he's a player for sure.
There you go. There you go, Phenom. So, all right, I put up their little blurbs here for you, and I see. We're getting you don't have a lot of votes yet, but it's clear, far and away. You got some Mazzie Smith votes, of course, but he's 40% or so behind, 38% behind Cansey there. So Keanu Benton's getting a little bit of love. Keandre Coburn at the far end. So, all right, give it another minute here. Get your votes in. Get your votes in, everybody. So we'll see which defensive tackle we're going to take. And then just very quickly. Oh, no way, Dom. Did it do it?
Nope, it didn't.
Holy shit.
We're still there. We're good.
I got to change that fucking setting, dude. I don't know why it's like that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and end this poll. Thank goodness. Holy shit. My stomach I almost puked.
And it's Kalijah Cansey by a landslide. 70% of the votes. Love the player, guys. I really do.
Excellent. Okay, there he comes. We got our defensive tackle. Now, interestingly, I'm going to point something out to you, everybody. This is a team that's defense was its strong point, and we've used 2 of our top 3 picks on defense. So I'm just saying, it's one of those things where you almost have to consciously pay attention to what it is you're trying to accomplish in a draft. Again, you don't want to reach and you don't want to avoid talent and all those kinds of things. But at some point, you do want to try to take some swings at fixing the issue, which is we did get Derek Carr. So that's a big one. We can't forget that.
Correct.
Okay, so here's the big board, everybody, very quickly. So we got, Luke Whippler's still there. I'm very curious to see if Avila's still there. I bet I didn't look on the.
No, I think he's gone.
You think he's gone? Let's take a look at this. This is going to be the quick. Yep, there he goes. There he goes.
Just
look at all these guys. Yep. So we lost him. Now let me just take a look for Rusty Spooner's sake here. Patterson's long gone, right? Yeah, he's long gone.
No, I don't think so. He's probably down, way down. Maybe not.
Way.
Maybe not that far.
This is crazy town.
Dakota Davis. Didn't we have him about 8 years ago? Oh, that was Dakota Dozier. Never mind.
Dozier. Right. All right. So look, all right, guys, here's what we got. So look, we got an offensive tackle. Don't forget, we got Derek Carr. So we got a quarterback, an offensive tackle. We got a safety, and we got a defensive tackle. This is our second, third-round pick that we gained in a trade. Mm-hmm. And then we have 2 picks following this. So it's important to make sure that we really maximize this pick. Do we want another interior offensive line? Do you want a double dip at safety? You think maybe we need a Jordan Whitehead's going to go, and we obviously need to fix free safety because LaMarcus Joyner is not long for the team as anything more than depth, in my opinion. And obviously we have Davis, but we don't know I don't know how much he's going to really be as far as, starting role. So, we got lots to think about. So I'm going to put the poll up there. This is the big board.
Yeah.
Here's what we got. I'll put the poll. So we're going to throw up some positions. I'm going to add wide receiver just because. So pick 89. So we got our defensive tackle. I'm going to add interior offensive lineman. That could be guard or center. Okay. We'll add wide receiver. We're going to put linebacker back up there. And I think that's going to do it, Dom. I think we'll keep to those three. What do you think?
Okay.
Is there another one you want to add up there?
No, I mean, I think I would go with those three first. I mean, wide receiver. What do you have? Wide receiver, interior offensive line, and linebacker. Yeah,
Yep.
I think that's more than suffice.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, it's up. Now, we're going to have a challenge right now. How many votes can we get right now? Come on, let's try to get 100 or more votes right now. And I'm going to go ahead and float through some of these picks for you, or positions, I mean. So, okay, we got the interior offensive line. We'll start over here at guard. Voorhees, a lot of people are liking Voorhees.
Voorhees is criminal at rated 111th in this in these rankings. He's my number 2 guard in the entire class. He's got guard tackle flexibility, as adequate as in the run as he is in the pass. Very good mover, can fit a bevy of schemes, but probably geared more towards the outside zone scheme, which we're assuming Nathaniel Hackett's going to run. He is. Somebody said it in the chat, and I agree with it wholeheartely. He's the closest thing to AVT as there is in this draft, except he's bigger and he's longer.
Love longer.
On the same token, as the fact that he's criminal there, it's hard to pass on a Whippler here. Whippler's, he's your pure center. He comes in, and he just produces. He's a guy that you draft, you plug in, and you don't have to think about for 12 years.
There you go. Yeah. So, right. And now look, if interior offensive line wins, we're going to throw up centers and guards. Voorhees and Whippler will be on the list. Let's take a look at the wide receivers, see where we are. We're down to Xavier Hutchinson.
Had a nice, he's a good
Trey
player.
Palmer.
Trey Palmer, let me tell you something. I wholeheartedly was a lot lower on Trey Palmer until the practice week at Mobile. He didn't drop a pass. Anything thrown his way, he grabbed. He was faster and a little bit bigger than I expected. But I attest his mediocre game film probably to the poor offense that they ran over there in Nebraska, bad quarterback play, the whole gamut. But Palmer really impressed me. Definitely really impressed me.
There you go. It's I'm telling you, man, the Senior Bowl is an interesting thing. Number one, you have some guys that like we talked about with a lot with Tommy. It's like, they can be rusty, right? They haven't had the pads on a little bit. So you're going to see some of that. And then there are some guys, which is really where the value is in the Senior Bowl from my perspective. You have some guys that maybe are on the outside looking in. They might get drafted late round, but they have an opportunity to come there and show up, particularly in the practices. The practices are actually more valuable than the games, than the game in many people's eyes. But they can actually get onto the radar of a lot of people where they weren't before. And it's just so cool to see that and how excited these guys do get. I mean, they take it seriously. We were watching the line drills, the one-on-ones, and then the aggressive tendency. I mean, just you could see it, man. These guys wanted to make a name for themselves. They wanted to maximize this opportunity. Yo Mama TV1, what's up, buddy? He says he wants offense. Well, the good news, you were late, like you said. We did trade and we got Derek Carr. So we're definitely helping the offense. If all we do this offseason is bring in Derek Carr and a left tackle, it's significantly improved. I mean, just that alone, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, let's take a look at the poll. Where are we with the poll? 50 votes, 3 minutes, 50 votes. Interior offensive line is crushing it, though. So I'm going to go ahead and end it. I'm not going to wait around for 5 more votes. So we're going to end it. We'll do the interior offensive line. So here's what we got. Okay.
I think you can make this, honestly, Bean, for speed's sake. You could probably make this a 2-horse race here. You want Whippler, the center, who's the best center on the board at this point, or do you want Voorhees, who arguably the best interior guy? Now, Voorhees, I know he's played all over the offensive line, both right tackle, left guard, left and right guard, even some left tackle in spots. I don't know if he ever took any college snaps at center, just being honest. I could probably look that up. But he's legit. He's a top 50 player in this draft.
All right. Well, look, so that's what I did. I took Dom's suggestion, and we're putting up, this is a 2-man race. So we have Luke Whippler and Andrew Voorhees, center, guard. If you want, this is the whole draft right here. Right? This is the whole mock. If you were going to vote, now is the one this is the one, everybody. Okay. This is the one. You need to make sure your voice is heard. It's only one or the other. Don't come away being upset that we didn't get a center if you didn't vote. And don't be pissed if you wanted Voorhees, but Whippler wins if you didn't vote. So let's get it in there, everybody. Come on. This is the one.
Just for full disclosure here, I did look up Voorhees. Voorhees has starts at left tackle. At right guard for 2 years, at left guard for a year, and at left tackle for a year. So he's versatile all up and down the line, but did not take any center snaps in college. Not to say that he can't, but he just hasn't.
Yep. And you want to pay attention to that. It's like, well, we think he can. Well, maybe, but he hasn't. So there's that. That's pretty big. Dylan thinks Voorhees is going to run away with this one. He says, you never know. Slim thinks we should change it to Whippler the Tickler. That's close. Whippler the Flippler. Be better if it sounded like that. The Tickler. I don't know. Who else we got here? Rusty says we can draft Jarrett as center later. We're going to crush this draft. And if we trade out of the first as much as possible. I know I really got to say, I think that a trade back, assuming we still have 13 when we enter the draft, I think a trade back is realistic in this draft. I think
absolutely. I absolutely do, especially if, depending on how, if tackle is the focus, if we have 13 and depending how JD has his tackles fall down, if his top guys are off the board and he's in that second tier, I mean, it just makes sense. We're tight against the cap. Why pay, $3, $4, $5 million, whatever the 13 picks going to cost, when you can accumulate more depth and more draft picks and pay them $800,000 for the next couple of years.
There you go. Yeah. And that's the stuff. You have to think like that, man. You have to, especially when you're looking at the cap on people's production and stuff like that. There are those decisions where you're going to say, all right, well, I can save, $4 million and get similar production with an $800,000 guy. I want to point out that our good friend Boy Green is in the house.
Hey, Boy Green, what's up, man?
Boy Green, go ahead and throw a vote up there, buddy. Throw a vote for Whippler, man. He says, I believe Matt Miller has Whippler as his top-rated center on ESPN. Well, there you go. There you go, man. I mean, it's a realistic pick. Either one of these guys, it's going to be great. But we have to consider in the realistic potential that we lose Connor McGovern, we had better make sure we're not going into this year with a big fat question mark at center, man. It is paramount. Yeah. And particularly, we bring in this quarterback, whoever the hell it is, and you got a, Dan Feeney level center. I don't know. We got to have some answers there, man.
So fun fact about Luke Whippler, which I think I talked about it last night because we actually, on Jeremy's channel, which I co-host with him on Sundays, where we just talk about the draft prospects and we're going through position by position. We did the interior offensive line last night. Fun fact about Luke Whippler. The only position he's ever played in football, I'm talking when he started playing football until right now when he's draft eligible, is center. Weird, right? You're a kid, you always play on both sides of the ball, this or that. Whippler's only been a center, man.
Amazing.
He's born for this.
Amazing. All right, look, we're going to take, I haven't looked at the poll yet. Wow. Okay. But still only 50 votes. I got to say, I'm disappointed, man. I am. I thought you guys were going to have passion voting. Where's Gitmo Bob? Did you vote, Bob? Where are you, buddy?
Gitmo's complaining. He would have taken Voorhees over Kalijah, man. You guys are sleeping on Kalijah. I'm telling you, the kid is shot out of a cannon. He's a pistol, 6 feet tall. I don't care. He does work.
Well, and look, this is an opportunity, guys. If you're not familiar with the player, take a minute, right? This is a great opportunity. You're getting a window in to somebody that just might interest you. Go ahead and take a gander and look at some of these guys right now. I think where Bob is, I tend to reside there. I shared this. I'm really feeling the need for offensive line, particularly in the center, but also a guard as well. Center is more of a pressing issue in my mind, but sure. I tend to feel while defensive tackle's high on my list, I gotta say I'm skewed a little bit. I tend to lean towards the offensive line because I want so badly for that to be fixed. I mean, look, if we put all of our resources into just the offensive line, like we get a quarterback and just make sure the offensive line is double stacked, I wouldn't have an issue with it. I really wouldn't. I really wouldn't, man. We got enough skill guys. We got a good defense. You add here, there. But if 9 out of 10 resources went to that damn offensive line, I'd be okay with it.
But on the argument to that is we're still in that position right here at pick 89 to handle that center spot, right?
Yeah, totally. Right.
We are still like the drop off from who we would have taken at 50 or wherever we took the defensive tackle to where we are now. It's minimal. I mean, sure, there might be guys that you like better than others, so on and so forth. But they're in the same ballpark. They're in the same tier, most of them. Like I said, I don't think Avila, the drop off to Avila to Whippler is even
the same.
Arguable. Yeah, no. I think I'd be happy with either of them.
Yep, and there you go. And that's the type of stuff to factor in that could change your predetermined biases. To maybe being a little bit more open to such things. So, all right, we're going to end the poll. I got about 60 votes here, but Whippler, the tickler, as was said, is the guy we're grabbing. All right, man, the pure center. Where the hell is my right tab here? Okay, Luke Whippler, Ohio State, coming aboard.
We've done good with Ohio State centers, though. Let's be honest.
Yes, we have.
In the past, we've done good with Ohio State centers, right?
That's right. Ain't nothing wrong with trying to capture that lightning in a bottle again. So we're going to avoid the trades, like I said. All right, guys. So we have 2 picks left.
Yeah.
We have not taken. There's a couple positions we have not taken. So I think what is this? Pick 112, I think it is. Yep. And we're going to go with linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go with wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
We just did a center. So maybe. What do you think?
I mean, listen, there's a bevy of different ways you can go.
Safety.
You can double up at safety. You can double up at offensive tackle. If you're not really sure on the Mekhi Becton, Dwayne Brown, Max Mitchell, who's going to be healthy combo. I mean, you nothing wrong with the depth piece. I'd probably lean linebacker here, or possibly double it up at safety. Joe Grana wants an edge, and this is a very deep edge class.
Edge. You know what? I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to add edge. Okay. We're going to take safety off, and we're going to add edge. Okay.
And so I'm going to tell you while we're looking at this big board, Will McDonald is staring me right in the face here. When you talk about scheme, he's not going to be your hand in the dirt guy, playing from a 7 or a 9 tech that our defensive scheme calls for. He's not that guy. But what he can provide as a pure pass rusher, from his feet, is probably as good as anybody in this class. He dog walked people all week long in Mobile. Darnell Wright. I remember a rep because I watched him incessantly. Darnell Wright, and there's a rep there on Wednesday where Will McDonald just baits him outside and does this spin move that was like pristine and just got right to the quarterback. It was unbelievable. So he's a pure pass rusher. He's a little bit thin, probably only about 250 pounds. He's not gonna survive, playing the run too much as a hand in the dirt defensive lineman. But if you're talking about a pass rush specialist, somebody in the mold of what we have in Bryce Huff, except with probably even a little bit more athleticism, probably even a little bit more bend than Bryce Huff, which is hard to say because Bryce Huff is really, really agile like that. Will is a guy.
There you go. Hey, Boy Green psyched. He's right. Camp Whippler. Right there it is, man. Whippler is a good pick. So yeah, I mean, look, it looks like linebacker right now is clearly comfortably leading everybody. Yeah. But we only have like a fucking handful of you that voted. So all right, well, we're gonna watch you guys trickle in. I'll give it one more minute. Yeah. We're at the poll's 2 minutes. I like to, if I can, 3 minutes. Sometimes we go up to 5 earlier on, but I'd like to get this done a little, not waste too much time. But linebackers crushing it with wide receiver following it up. The sales pitch at edge didn't sway too many people. Think what it is?
It wasn't a sales pitch.
No, I know.
It wasn't a sales pitch because I definitely probably would lean towards the linebackers, but this is the area of linebackers that I really like. Diane Henley is going to be an absolute stud in the NFL. Dorian Williams is probably one of my favorite draftable prospects in the entire class. He's fast as could be. He's athletic. He might be, him and Owen Pappo might be the two best pure coverage backers from the off ball thing. And Mohamed Diabate, he was at the Shrine Bowl, but an interesting fun fact. Supposedly the Jets brass that were at the Shrine Bowl spent a lot of time with Diabate. They seem to like him, and they seem to be they honed in on him.
There he is.
Yeah.
If you want to see the full report,
he's a transfer from he's a transfer from Florida. I'll give you a full report on him. He's a transfer from Florida. Spent a lot of time as a pass rusher, outside backer at Florida before he transferred to Utah. He's again, I don't know. He's probably a coverage skills is not going to be his strong point. So I kind of liken him to more of a sandback or something like what Quincy Williams does. He definitely can hold his own against the run. Like I said, he's not the most athletic. He's very average in that sense. He's not going to offer you much in the pass rush. But he's a guy that's going to come in. He's going to, he's going to play hard. He does some good things from the linebacker position, rushing and so on and so forth. And he's a guy that you can count on to be on all the special teams as well.
There you go. So, yeah. All right. Look, I'm getting some requests. I'm trying to put the big board. Look, I want you guys to know, I really do appreciate when you ask me for the big board or specific positions. Again, I have 4 tabs open and I try to go back and forth. So sometimes I forget that I'm leaving one like stuck on a thing. So just remind me, no problem. And don't forget to ask about the things that you want to see in addition to that. Like, for example, we have somebody asking for a quick recap. So I have no problem with the recap action. If I could find that friggin' tab, here we come. Here it is. This is who we got. So don't forget, we started the draft with a massive, wonderful trade for quarterback Derek Carr. Followed that with his offensive tackle from Georgia. Then we got Brandon Joseph, safety out of Notre Dame. Cansey, Dom C's most favoritist player in the defensive tackle department. Luke Whippler, center out of Ohio State. And we are down to pick 112 and 185, guys. So right now, looks like linebackers winning. I'm going to go ahead and end this one. Mm-hmm. Linebacker won the poll. Let me get to the tab. So now we're going to do quickly. What the hell? Can you guys hear an echo? Could you hear that all night? Were you hearing an echo?
I think it's my headphones hitting the
No,
back
no,
of
no,
my
no.
shirt.
Nope. No, I didn't realize I had like the channel because I have my headphones on, so I can't hear outside.
Yeah.
And I just heard it, and it was like I had my YouTube like at 1% on. So I was like, oh shit, are they hearing that?
Yeah.
Hey, I wanted to thank Jason Edwards for the wonderful super sticker. Thank you, sir. Here it is again, everybody. Boom.
Paul
There
Boy
it is.
Green getting Cansey is what a steal at 74. I told him Boy Green. I told him I wouldn't take no for an answer on that one. Then
There it is. He put in all of his.
I did work on that, man.
Every tool he had, right? So what the hell was I going to do now? Oh yeah, I was going to. Okay, so we got to look at the players. Here we go. That's what I'm doing. All right. So we have. I'm going to grab. So you think Diabate, Dennis, and Graham, or who else did you like here?
I like Dorian Williams and Diane Henley well above any of these other guys here. Deshaun Pace is probably not draftable. Savosier Dennis is like he was so hit or miss. He was so hit or miss at camp. I mean at Mobile that I don't know. I like I said, if you're asking me my personal, I would probably say Henley or Williams with whoever else you want to throw in there. Second,
yeah,
but
I'm going to put Dennis up there. Yeah, I grabbed your two dudes, and I'm going to take the Abate because of the love that the Jets showed him at the Shrine Bowl.
Yeah,
and we'll throw Dennis up there because it's a name that everybody loves. So, I want to make sure that we keep the familiar names up there as well. Guys are going to be comfortable with that. So your four guys are up there, everybody. This will be a 2-minute max.
Yeah.
Now
I think Henley and Williams guys are easy replacements at the will at those chase and tackle guys that are excellent in coverage. Henley himself, I mean, he's a tackle machine. I think he had double-digit tackles in 8 of 11 games last year. But he's very, very new to the position. So he's a transfer from the University of Nevada, where he was if you didn't know, he was a wide receiver and a kick returner at the University of Nevada.
Interesting.
Got a little bit bigger, got a little bit stronger, transferred over to Washington State, and they put him right at linebacker where he excelled. He was one of the standouts, I think, at the linebacker position during the week at Mobile. Like I said, I've already spoken my mind on Dorian Williams. I think he's a great player.
Well, that's an interesting one. Remember, we had something similar, but in reverse. Remember, our boy Sam Darnold was a linebacker that they decided to give a shot at quarterback. So there you go. Worked
How
out.
about that? Yeah. Cam Jones is another interesting guy. I know he's way down here and he's probably not up for this pick, but if he didn't get hurt last year, I think he'd be far up this board. He's going to make a team. He's going to be one of those late round, those 5th, 6th, 7th round picks that you're going to end up hearing his name a lot in the NFL. He just hasn't been healthy.
Well, health. I'll tell you what, one of the things we don't want to do as the New York Jets is bring on guys who struggled with health, right? Mm-hmm. We bring on the healthiest players in NFL history and they get hurt here. Look at Brown. Dwayne Brown never hurt. He's here for 4 practices and he got fucking hurt, man. That's like Laken Tomlinson. I mean, all these guys, well, he wasn't hurt, but he just fell off a cliff. So he might as well have been hurt. Yeah. But we see that, man. Guys come here with no injury history. Poor Cam Clark in the 2020 draft, no injury history to speak of, none. Came to the Jets, literally never played a snap for us, and his career ended early. Obviously, the Mekhi Becton thing, with him missing the last 2 years, essentially. I mean, we got 3/4 of that guy. So it's one of those things. So you got to make sure, like McCagnon had no problem. He's been injured, 3 knee injuries in 3 years? Sure. Come on. He did it in one draft. He took Blake Cashman and Blesson Austin, both of whom had missed at least 2 years of their college career with knee injuries. He said, yeah, it's my guy. Bring him. We can't do that. We got to have the epitome of health to even have a shot at staying healthy for the New York Jets. Hopefully that turns around soon, man.
Yeah. Guys, we're only got 36 votes. Let's get some more votes. We got a barn burner here. It's really close. It's the closest. The closest poll that we've had all time.
Yep, it's a close one.
Yeah, and somebody, Phenom. Yeah, I heard Diane Henley was great in coverage. He is, like I said, Henley and Williams and Owen Papel from Auburn are probably your best true cover linebackers. I mean, Diane Henley was making play after play in reps in Mobile, covering running backs. Now, the running backs always have an advantage in those skeleton one-on-one drills when the running backs run a pattern and the linebackers got to read it. But I mean, his short area quickness is able to just stop, plant, and get head south and undercut stuff. I mean, he showed it, time after time in Mobile and during the year at Washington State. And like I said, I love the idea. I love the fact that he's a linebacker now. He's only played it for 30 games, but was a wide receiver. So, he's got some sort of ball skills.
Yep. Athleticism, dude.
Yeah.
Ball skills, athleticism. I'm with you. I love that stuff. I love football players, man. I don't like these guys. Well, if I'm a one tech, if they put me to the 3 and then I can't play anymore, I like linebackers that go, what? What? Oh yeah. Want me to play the will? I'll play the will. Mike. Yeah, sure. Give me the mic. Now, granted, obviously there's size and everything, but I like guys that'll do whatever you want them to do and have done all kinds of different things. And like Dom said, coming from a wide receiver background for a linebacker, guess what? He might even grab himself a pick or two. I'm not sure if you guys saw in the Pro Bowl games, obviously they're playing flag and all that jazz, but our boy CJ Mosley had an opportunity for an interception and misplayed the ball. He didn't get it. He almost took a Minka Fitzpatrick's head off, though. I'll tell you that. His shoulder hit him right in the head, man. That was but CJ Mosley, bro, he went for it.
We got 45 votes, and it looks like it's pulling away just a little bit. Just a little bit. There's a lot of love for Mohamed Diabate, though. I like to see it.
Yep, there you go. Hey, Dom, listen, I got to do a bio break real fast. I can't make it. So I'm just going to go. I'm going to come right back. Okay. I have to do it.
Go for it.
All right. Good luck. Hold down the fort. Let me see. What do you want me to show here? I'll put something up for you. Anything?
Whatever you want.
Well, what do you want? I'm not going to be here. I'm asking you if you want
I'll talk to these guys. We're good, man. We're good.
Right, there you go.
We'll continue to talk about prospects here.
There you go.
That's what we do. Go for it, man. So the poll, it looks like we're just about 50 votes. It looks like it's going to be Diane Henley. Like I said, I personally, I'd be okay with Diane Henley and Dorian Williams here. Probably lean a little bit more Henley. He had a little bit more production at a higher level in the Pac-10. He's a little bit smaller at 6'1", 220 as opposed to 6'3", 230 of Dorian Williams. But I don't think you can lose either way. Both of them are going to be really, really good fits in their skill sets kind of fit for the NFL very well. And I think that both of them would be good fits in our defensive scheme. So it's a double whammy. You get good player who is also a scheme fit. You can't really go wrong.
I'll tell you what happened while I was gone.
What's that?
It got even closer. The poll got closer. We got another little burst of votes.
Come on, one more vote. Let's get up to 50 votes, people.
Yeah.
If you haven't voted, do it.
Come on, let's go right. I'm going to give it 30 seconds, and we're going to see if it sticks to where it is. It got closer. We're only 4 points separating the two. With so few votes, one vote can change it. So get your vote in right now. We got about 20 seconds.
Come on, one person here hasn't voted. Do it. There it is. Look
at that, dude. It's now 2 points. Come on, guys, get your votes in. This is exciting stuff.
And there's no love.
Oh, it's tied. It's tied. I love it.
It is tied, huh? Well, you know what, Bean?
What's up?
Why don't you be the tiebreaker, man? Because I know you didn't vote.
Oh, I'm voting for Diabate. That's what I would. Because the truth is, I haven't done these guys yet. So, I'll tell you what. I'm going to do. I'm going to give it 10 seconds, 56 votes. Okay. Just get your votes in, and I'm going to vote for the guy who lost and see if it, all right. Here we go. I'm getting 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The thing is, Dom, is I can't officially vote. It won't let me. So I don't know how much of a percentage it would really.
Wow, look at that. 57 votes, guys. 36% to Dorian Williams and 35% to Diane Henley.
So 36% to Dorian Williams out of Tulane. Here he comes. Who was the last guy we took out of Tulane? You guys remember? I forget.
Tulane. Hang on.
Yeah, it's someone. It's recent.
Is it recent?
Relatively speaking, in my damn Jets fandom. You know what I mean? Like not in the 80s. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see. Jets draft Tulane. Let me do it. Tulane. Tanzel Smart. There he is.
Wow,
He's
how
from
about
Tulane, but we
that?
didn't draft him.
Yeah.
I don't believe. No, we did not. All right. So, guys, we are down to our final pick. This is where people start getting nuts talking about punters and shit, Dom. So we're going to go ahead and make our final poll of the evening. Thanks to everybody for jumping up and participating in that last poll. There's Matt O'Leary. What's up? James Morgan. He wants
Matt's here. Hey, Matt.
He wants some James Morgan action.
Oh, Christ. If I never hear James Morgan again, it'll be too soon.
Yeah.
I think he's coaching somewhere with Adam Gase, right?
Yeah, they're very close. All right, so I'm throwing punter up there. We'll throw wide receiver up there. And then we'll do a little double. Well, let me see. We got a tackle. We got an interior offensive lineman. We got ourselves a linebacker. I'll throw up a.
What about edge?
Yep, and I'm going to throw edge and safety. There it is.
That works.
Okay, it's up there. It's up there.
And one of my favorite names in the whole draft is sitting there at linebacker, which we're not taking. Number 246, Bumper Pool himself.
Yeah, Bumper Pool. There he is. Look at this. I love when Matt calls me something other than my actual name. GreenBean. Greenavan. I love it. That's right. It's always good to see. Look at that. Wait, Matt O'Leary's in an Uber right now from Brooklyn back to Long Island. Tell you what, I'm telling you, man, that is dedication. Thank you. It's so great.
Listen, GreenBean, it shows the clout that you have in this Jets Twitter sphere. The Sainted, Matt O'Leary, Boy Green, everyone's coming in here to pay their respects to you, man.
No, they're here for Dom C. That's what it is. That's what it is. You'll see. Yeah. So, okay, guys, look, our poll is up. And we got 4 positions. The Matt says no punter. Okay. Don't draft a punter. I'll tell you what. Why? Just because the last one you guys don't like him? Why? You can get a good punter if you use your 6th or 7th round pick. But the truth is a lot of them can be found in undrafted free agency or, I don't know, man. I don't know what they're going to do with Braden Mann. They can save over $3 million by getting rid of him. And I think his inconsistency's probably going to push them that way.
I would agree wholeheartedly. You can have Tanzel Smart come in and punt and probably just do just about as good on a regular basis.
No, right. I'll tell you what. Look, I'm on board, right, with the inconsistency issue with Braden Mann. But the thing is with Braden Mann is when he's on, which is more than not, he's actually a middle of the pack punter. There are some stats that have him in the top 10, by the way. But it's his inconsistency. But when he's on, he's among the best. It's just the problem is
when he's on. You said when he's
it.
on. He's the only guy on the team that Joe Flacco too maybe, but every time the ball's in his hands, I kind of get that knot in my stomach. You never know what's going to happen. It could be a corner coffin corner punt to the 2-yard line, pins him deep, or it could be a 28-yard shank.
Well, and look, and that's the thing. Look, we talk about, you've heard me say it a million times about the propensity for Quinnen Williams to come up big when you need him, right? Mm-hmm. Those are the truly great players. Like, yes, it's obviously important if you get a sack on first down in the first quarter. Of course, it's all important. But it's more important when the game's on the line and it's 3rd and 2 or 4th and 1 and you come up, you're the guy who makes the play. There's a significant difference. That's what separates the truly great players from the very good players. The same thing applies on the other end. Mm-hmm. It's like when you have that just uncanny ability to shank it in the exact moment when they need you to come up big, buddy. Yeah. We need you. We're in the end zone. We're pinned back and you throw a 27-yard punt off the side of your foot. Like those are the kinds of things that Braden Mann, I think, sad to say, has suffered from. And that's why the inconsistency feels even more glaring than it is. I want to point out that Matt O'Leary almost just died, guys. So listen, it's very important to hug those who you love, and never. If today might be the last day, you never know. You just never know. Matt almost just died. He's got a crazy drunk Uber driver. He's going to drive him over the edge of the Major Deeg, and we can't have this. We can't have it.
And he's in Long Island, so he's sitting in traffic, so it had to have been bad. Right?
Yeah. All right, so let's see. Here's the big board, guys. And I'm going to close this.
You can close the
Oh, Ronnie Bell's still there. Interesting. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and close it. We got wide receiver. Okay. There it is.
I like it
too. I'm gonna dig deep for this one, man. I'm not gonna go by their boards here. Let me see what they got here. All right. So we're gonna take a wide receiver far and away wins. Okay. I see Ronnie Bell there, who I was just looking at, and I don't dislike.
Yeah.
So
Jaden Reed, Nathaniel
Reed.
Tank Dell's there. Puka Nacua had himself a good week too. I mean, there's tons of good receivers here.
Yep. Let's see.
Jaden Reed from Michigan State, arguably the best receiver at Senior Bowl. Trey Tucker.
Yep. That's our favorite.
Yeah.
You know what I realized? I don't want to embarrass you or anything, but I didn't even realize it until I was going over our footage and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I think you may have called him Trey Turner to his face.
I did.
Oh.
I called him Trey Turner to his face. And not only did I call him Trey Turner, I did it twice.
Oh, it's so bad.
But I said it I said it so fast. And I actually DM'd him. And I said, listen, after that got retweeted by someone who we all like, I watched it again and I noticed it. My wife laughed at me. She's like, I had baseball on the brain. I called him Trey Turner, and I actually DM'd him and I said, listen, man, wholeheartedly apologize. Like, I don't even know if you picked up on it, but rewatching this, I just picked up on it, and it's just
did he respond?
He did. He said LOL, no sweat.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now, do you want to tell her? I'm not sure if you made a big deal about it there.
Nah, it's
no. I'm talking about something else now. I moved. So if you didn't, Dom might not have told everybody. I'm not sure if he did or not, but he put up something about Trey Tucker, Cincinnati wide receiver, and Sauce Gardner replied to his tweet supporting the idea of Trey Tucker coming to the New York Jets. Now, we know that, our new offensive coordinator leans toward the bigger body wide receivers, which is, by the way, after my own heart, everybody. Mm-hmm. I am a big wide receiver guy. I love, you got to have your slot guys and everything, but I love big, strong block and wide receivers. But that said, Trey Tucker would be a very interesting get.
Yeah.
I think he had a great showing at the Senior Bowl, and I think that zebra chip was doing well for him, Dom.
Trey Tucker is going to run extremely fast. Like, he's going to push. He's going to push maybe the top time ever. He's going to be in that low 4.3 range, maybe even sub 4.3. He shows enough. He's not big. He's not very big at all. But he's got enough juice that he can play on the outside if he's asked. But his bread and butter, he is so fast of foot. We watched him run route after route.
Yep.
He's just so quick and breaks so smoothly. He's going to contribute on punt return, kick return. He's that true football player,
yeah. Well, he had a great answer too when you asked him. I'm going to show you mind if I show the interview? You good?
Please,
show everybody real fast.
Go ahead.
So it's a very brief interview, but since we're talking wide receivers, while you guys are voting, I'm going to go ahead and share now Dom C's interview with Trey Turner.
I can't believe, and I hate Trey Turner nonetheless.
It's just so funny. It is, because it's such a great, but his answers, you guys are going to love it, man. He says he's the fastest. And one of the things that I love, he says, hey man, like, don't let my size fool you. I'm throwing my body around. So let me make sure you guys can see this. Okay. Make sure you can hear it, Tom. Can you guys hear this?
No.
Could you hear that?
No, it's very, very low.
All right, let me try that.
Trey Turner. Trey, let me tell you something.
Can you hear it?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not saying this because you're.
Wait, hold on.
At University of Cincinnati, wide receiver Trey Turner. Trey, let me tell you something. And I'm not saying this because you're in front of me. By far, I thought you were the best wide receiver on the field yesterday. Great practice. What has been putting the pads back on? Because I know it's probably been a minute since you had the pads on and went full go. What's that been like?
Yeah, I haven't had pads on since my last game. So I think that just goes, from our coaches in Cincinnati preparing us to be pros, not putting pads on and putting pads on 2 months later just shows, how much I prepared.
Yeah.
Because I didn't wear them when I was training. I'm training for the combine and stuff like that. So it just shows that, I'm mentally locked in. And, whenever I got to go, I'm ready to go.
Yeah. Crisp. I thought everything you did was sudden. Was crisp. Was full of energy. I mean, what's the one trait that you bring to the field in your play style that the coaches here are going to open their eyes?
Well, I'm really physical. Like, it's what you said.
Physical.
I think I'm the fastest guy here, and I'm able to run those routes full speed and stop on a dime. That's something I've worked on for years, and it just come overnight. But that's what I was really excited to show. Being in my stop ability, getting out of my breaks, really playing and catching the football.
How have the quarterbacks been so far?
They've been good.
Yeah, all right. So that's the main part I wanted to show. But what a great little interview, right, Art Boy? I mean, look, outside of the little flub, just great questions, great presentation. You got to love this Dom C fella. And again, I loved his answers, Dom. That's that's the whole thing. He said, it's my physicality. Like, what are they going to see? What are you going to show the coaches? He said, I'm physical. And on top of that, I think I just might be the fastest guy here.
Yeah.
So hello.
Yeah. And
A lot to be said.
There's a shot that he's one of the fastest that we see run at the combine.
Nice.
So yeah. So to this pick here, I we're talking about the Jets. Nathaniel Hackett has a penchant to like the bigger receivers who can supply something in the blocking game as well. So you might want to cross Trey Tucker off the board, but I wouldn't. I think that he can provide. I think he can do that. I happen to like the guy. Elijah Higgins is more. He's a guy who worked out a little bit at tight end during the draft pick. He's your big guy. He's your red zone threat. Yeah. He's your 50-50 ball winner. He's not going to wow anybody with his footwork in and out of his breaks. But he runs a full route tree from Stanford, and he's your bigger, strong red zone threat kind of guy. Ronnie Bell had himself a good week too. He separated a lot better than I thought. His film was awful this year in Michigan, but I think it was more of a testament to poor quarterback play. Like I said, Jaden Reed was arguably the best wide receiver in all of the Senior Bowl. Puka Nacua had himself a good day. Can
I just let me interrupt you real fast and say that I think that interview impacted some folks because Trey Tucker's running away with this one, Dom.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry. It's tied Jaden Reed and Trey Tucker. My bad. But still, I didn't think that he'd even be. I threw him in there as a nod. That's what I did. But it's tied up, man. It just moved a little bit. So we got Jaden Reed and Trey Tucker, and Ronnie Bell's got 17, and Puka Nacua's got 9%. So it's going to be one of these guys. Jaden Reed's pulling ahead. Some people getting nervous. Like, all right, man, it's all fun and games.
Yeah.
But
he's really good. He did everything well, Jaden Reed. He separated well. He's fast. He got off, he released clean. He showed a bevy of different release moves. He caught everything. I mean, he caught over the shoulder, tough catches, he separated from some of these corners and safeties like nobody's business. Him and Tank Dell. Tank Dell's another one who we didn't even put in the poll. That's a travesty if he goes undrafted in this draft, but he won't.
Well, Matt O'Leary says, what a draft. Well, let's see what it is. We're going to end this poll. I'm not even going to look. I don't know it's bouncing around back and forth. We're going to end it. See who the wide receiver is. Oh, Jaden Reed it is, everybody. So let's go ahead and slam down a little Jaden Reed action, and then we'll see what it is that we actually pulled together tonight. Where is he? There he is. Oh, I hit the wrong button again. There it is. Okay. Now let's see what this draft is. Now, guys, I want to remind you, we got ourselves a quarterback, arguably the best option for the Jets, if not the second best option if you fancy Aaron Rodgers. I think it's hard to argue that any of the other guys out there would be a better get, Dom, than Derek Carr. So we did a good job with that. We followed that with offensive tackle Broderick Jones out of Georgia.
Mm-hmm. He's your
Then we
left
went-
tackle.
He's our left tackle. Look, we still have Becton and what the hell's his name? Brown and Mitchell floating around, and maybe even Connor McDermott's still here, man. Who knows? But we got Brandon Joseph, a safety out of Notre Dame, with our 43rd overall pick. Then we went to the defensive line and took Kalijah Cansey out of Pittsburgh. A lot of people think he's not going to be there, but so we'll take it. And Luke Whippler, a center out of Ohio State, like Dom pointed out beautifully before, our history with Ohio State center is not so shabby. So let's do it again. Then we followed that with linebacker Dorian Williams out of Tulane, and we wrapped it up with wide receiver Jaden Reed out of Michigan State. Now, it says we got ourselves an extra 7th. I don't know. Maybe we did. I don't remember that.
I think we traded in one of the trades that we got a 7th.
Yeah, we got ourselves. Oh, there you go. We got ourselves an extra bonus 7th. That's our punter next year, maybe. Or when Zerline's done, we'll get ourselves a kicker. But let's get some letter grades. So, guys, in the chat, I know there's, we're waning here, but give me your letter grades in the chat. And in the meantime, I'll ask Dom C what his letter grade is. How do you think we put? No, you got to include Derek Carr, so don't forget that. But what do you think we pulled together here tonight, Dom?
Man, I you know what? With the Derek Carr edition, I mean, I love every single one of these picks. I'm not gonna lie. With the the only thing that probably would steer this from a solid A for me would be Brandon Joseph at 43. I think that's an overdraft. I think the value of safety could have been had later, or even Brandon Joseph could have been had later. So I'm going to give it an A-. But if this was our draft, you're not going to see me complaining whatsoever.
Yeah.
It missed being an A just for that one thing. I think we overdrafted Brandon Joseph.
Yeah,
But
not too bad, right?
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Well, so what you said, so it's an A.
I give it an A-.
Yeah, A-. There it is. Now, Rusty Spooner says, do you have a cigarette? And obviously, that's I'm deducing that he liked it. He says that was a good draft. Right. So O'Leary steps in first and gives us an A+.
Yes.
He's feeling good tonight. He's in a good mood. I can tell.
He had a couple bourbons.
Well, he just survived. Dude, Dom, he just survived a near-death incident. He's like, you get real grateful after that.
Yeah.
So Squirmy Weasel gives it a B+. Gitmo Bob says C+. Would have been a B+ if the defense was still at the bottom of the league. Not sure what that means, Bob. I think you would. I
think he's saying we overdrafted the defense.
I got. Yep. Okay. Thank you. That makes a lot of sense. So he wanted a little bit more offense.
But I'm curious. Before you get into that, I'm curious, Bob. Where else do you think we could have added onto the offense? All right. So I mean, if you say position by position, we took 1, 2, 3 offensive guys. We took 1, 2, 3 defensive guys. Just say we take Kalijah Cansey out of there. I mean, do you think we need another offensive lineman?
He wanted Voorhees, remember? So he's looking a bit, maybe secure the offensive line a little bit more.
Gotcha.
But Jetsfan 4, A+. Eller or faster says B+. Wicker Media, right? With Derek Carr thing, you can't minimize the importance of that one, and it's a solid A. Toxic D says A. Phenom says A-. Hank G, A-. Jordan Victor says a B-. A pick at 43 was a draft, so I think that's the same one you're talking about. Rusty says it's an A. Salty Nuts says it's a B+. Kev if
Chada.
you traded for Carr, that's not going to happen. He'll be cut. Well, I mean, I don't think so. We'll see. I think we're splitting hairs there, Kev. If we came away with this, that's what we're talking about, buddy.
Yeah.
Jason Edwards says it's a solid A-. I did survive the bastard driving O'Leary. The bastard driving me home was a maniac, but I'm glad Dom's seeing GreenBean out of it. Right. Well, let's get our priorities in order, right? I almost died, but at least we had a good draft.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So Jason Zoyas gives us an S. That's good. Or an A. There you go. I got you. So, yeah, I'll tell you what. I give it, especially with Carr, I give it a solid A. Now a plus, I don't know. I could. There's a few things I would have done differently, but I do like the ultimate result. I mean, again, I'm really just now chewing into my sub sandwich here. Broderick Jones isn't lighting me up. But that said, if the Jets like him, I'm in. So anyway, Derek Carr and the rest, I think it's a solid day, man. Sam Aiken checking in says Raiders will take a third for Carr. Well, there you go. That'd be even better, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be great if all of a sudden you found out tomorrow, the Jets traded a third for Derek Carr? I would be ecstatic. Wouldn't you, Dom?
I would. Absolutely.
Ecstatic.
I'd give it, I'd probably do a backflip, or I'd try at least.
Yeah. Well, don't, because you're going to break your neck. We're going to hear that Dom C broke his neck last night. That's what it's going to be. All right, man. Well, listen, that was a great show. Matt O'Leary does like Broderick. I don't dislike him. I don't know. I don't know if that's the guy. We gotta look. So anyway, that's our show for tonight, everybody. I do appreciate all of your presence here.
Yes.
Especially Dom C. Dom C was deep into a Jets Talk 24/7 stream. I thought it was no chance. It was like 9:58, and I'm like, all right. And they were still answering questions and phone calls, and somehow he slid in here during the intro. So I think that was awesome. But Dom C, dude, you're the man, and I appreciate it. It's really great. It's just great to get the time with you, and to be able to kind of dig into these prospects. And you show a lot of love and dedication to it. And I think people are noticing. Finally, Dom.
I appreciate it, but it's the guys like you who give me the opportunity and give me the stage to kind of come on here and nerd out, man. Like I said, I feel like since you and I were down in Mobile, Alabama, I feel like I've been running a gamut of just coming on here and talking about the prospects and what we saw and what I think and this and that. And I got to tell you, I love it. I love it. I live for this. This is just kind of ingrained in me. So I'm happy to do it.
Yeah. Finally, you don't have to do it alone.
That's right. I mean? That's right. Yeah. And what better show to be, to be the co-host or be the Robin to your Batman, Bean.
Right on. Well, I love it. So, man, I'm glad everybody's appreciating finally seeing like, wait a second, this guy's actually legit. Holy shit. I might want to listen to this fella. So it's good stuff, guys. Thank you for being here. That is our 10 o'clock mock for this week, February 7th, 2023. With that all said, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the evening, and I will see you. Let me get my thing up here. I will see you next time.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8.
Johnny Lamb Jones.
As a season ticket holder of the Jets, I'm going to fool Ken O'Brien of California Davis. Obviously, the Jets know something that, the people up there don't. Fullback, hello!
Roger Vick, Jeff Lageman.
Jets just don't understand the dress all back.
Blair Thomas, running back, Penn State. Johnny Mitchell. The New York Jets select tight end from Penn State, Kyle Brady. Vernon Golson.
Cleveland traded the 5th pick to the New York Jets. And with the 5th pick in the 2009 NFL Draft, New York Jets select Mark Sanchez.
D. Milner. Dino Smith. Jets select quarterback Christian Hackenberg.
Sam Darnold.